So I'm gonna put this video out for some clarification on some things. Is Will and Flawless as a whole a pastel hater or a lesser hater? Butter, whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know. We'll dig into a lot of different perspectives right now. Hey guys, what's going on? Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations, coming to you guys with another video this week. And we're going to talk on two main topics, I guess three, but it's really the same thing. Butter Lesser, which is pretty much the same gene, and Pastel. And pretty much give you guys an overall concept of what angles and perspectives we're coming from, and then tell you the downright honest truth on what we like and dislike. So we don't want to get anything misunderstood, misconstrued as we explain things. As we aspire to be a professional in this lane, we are still students of the game. We're students of the game in keeping, husbandry. We're learning from everything. We're literally sitting down, I know I am, and watching everybody post and all the lives. I'm trying to gain as much information as possible. Now, that's the husbandry, that's the keeping, that's the breeding, how to plan that. And then there's also a business lane where you may not necessarily have classes out there or a how-to guide, but you can kind of sit back on the sidelines and observe from the shows what people have on tables, what are people's holdbacks, observe on Instagram as well as here on YouTube, and watch what people are holding back, what they're planning for, a lot of their pairings, what they're shooting for in certain odds, and see where everything is moving. We're already into the recessives, multi-recessives, adding codoms, having codoms in it already, and just trying to pay attention to what's happening in the market. So you have the business side of it, where even down to Canova and watching what he does and what he don't do, as far as chasing certain projects, can also give you an idea of what you want to plan around. Again, have your own concept, but you can use all these things, the totality of circumstances, to come up with your own game plan. So I thought to make this video before we dive into all this cleaning and everything, and turn the fans off so you guys can hear me. So I'm probably gonna sweat my behind off. I read in the comments and everything about the microphone when I put t-shirts on, and the beard be scrubbing it. So I'm trying to make all the corrections for you guys. And again, this is an approach to bring us all together. We don't want to drop anyone apart. And I saw in a lot of our lives or past videos, I want to be crystal clear how we're coming across, or how we mean to come across, and not make a mockery of anyone's projects or plans. So that's what this video is for. So let's talk about Pastel. Okay, and I'm gonna show you guys some snakes too. But Pastel, the gene itself, okay, the incomplete dominant gene, how it works with certain combos. As a keeper, and as a breeder, there's some combos with Pastel in it that are straight up out of this world. There are some genes that it literally works so hand in hand with that you take Pastel out of it and it is not as mind-blowing as that combo was, or that gene was. That's the downright truth. Pastel is like any other gene. It has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. Okay. Unfortunately for Pastel, as things age, they typically get washed out. Typically, not always. Certain combos, it remains strong. A lot of DG combos, enhancer, it remains strong. So it depends on the application. So as a breeder, as a keeper, Pastel has its place. You know, as a business and on a small scale, that's what I want to put out there. Because just because we have 200 snakes yes, to the average person that may be large or larger scale, but this is still a small scale. This is very boutique considering we do so many different projects within the constraints of a 200 snake collection. Um, but as a business, what I've observed from being the cut on the customer side, the buyer side in the field, looking for certain combos and snakes, you are going to take a tremendous hit when it comes to putting pastel into your available snakes. Let me paint an example for you guys. I'll make up a DG combo and it happens to have pastel in it and it looks phenomenal. So your goal is to make a combination of that snake with adding your own little sauce on the end of it, whatever it may be, adding hurricane or adding black pastel, whatever it is. Reason I want to throw that in, we need to also, side note, stop getting in, and this is a generalization, stop getting in the mode of seeing something and just wanting to replicate it. Because by the time we replicate that, the industry has moved so far along that we get so disappointed. If ideal snake is $4,000 and I say that is cool, I want to make that. By the time I'm able to make that, now it's fallen to $1,500 and multiple different people have it and the demand is not as high. Yet, if I would have started with, man, that is insane, that is badass, I want to make that. I wonder how that looks with if I add a red stripe or redhead to it. And I start preparing on making that with adding my own flavor on top of it and hopefully hitting it at the same time. I would have hit making that. Guess what? Your market is still high. 3,000, 4,000, maybe more depending on your combination. But that's a whole nother topic. So I bring that up because in your attempt to hit that combination with DG, other genes in it, and having pastel in it, because it makes that DG pop and stay so bright, let's say you hit that snake and it's perfect. That was your goal. Okay, that's your whole back. It's irrelevant what the value of that snake is because that snake is a key component as it's going to become a part of your collection to move you forward. But you also hit a 6 egg or 8 egg clutch. You hit your goal animal, and let's say in that 6 egg clutch, 5 other animals, and 3 of those other animals have, pastel non-DG, or 3 pastel that are non-DG. So on the business side of it, you have to understand that you gotta be okay with not keeping these as holdbacks, and maybe somebody else that can use those in their program, or if they're seeking that pastel combo het DG for their program, will seek those snakes and hopefully purchase those snakes from you. But typically they stay away if they are a breeder business mindset. That's not going to be their first option. For us, for example, we have quite a bit of pastel in our collection on male and female side. So let me explain that. Let me grab a snake real quick. Come on, cooperate with me. So this big, beautiful girl, we did a reel on this week, and she is absolutely awesome. Now, this girl here happens to be produced by Bob Vu, but she is huge. And we did the reel short on this being her second year breeding with us. She's getting close to 4,000 grams and no clutches yet. It's okay. We're going to hold her around here and keep working on her. Her gene combo. She is, let's see, pastel, spot nose, lesser, visual hypo. Okay, and she is also pos het DG. We haven't even gotten around to testing her yet because she's been in our hypo program, so we really haven't worried with it too much. And she's absolutely stunning. And honestly, couldn't think of another gene in her to actually perfect or increase her looks. Overall, she's phenomenal and absolutely beautiful. And I brought her out because she's a combo of the pastel and lesser. So for her, that's perfect for us. I love the way she looks. Hypo gives that perfect film gray scale over her. She's absolutely beautiful. So we want to play with a few different things and see what we could create from her. But if at least we can reproduce her, it'll be cool, because we don't mind keeping another one of her or making an animal like her available to the public. We find, and it's all subjective, because again, it's our perception, it's how we see things here, and she's absolutely beautiful. Now, hindsight being 2020, if we produce this female or male and it's pastel lesser with nothing else going on, we've done the research, and those animals are extremely hard to move as a business. So ideally, if something is difficult, it becomes an obstacle. And if that obstacle is present, you need to figure out a way to circumvent that obstacle. So that's why I say sometimes you have to figure out whether things is going to be worth it on the business side as well as on the keeping side. If it's worth the odds going for it, you have to be under the understanding and cool with, hey, the animal may be available and here for a while, or it may come to a point where that animal may be make it a part of your advertising or promotional budget, where it's a beautiful animal. And what I mean by that is, you can do different things here on YouTube. Subscribe. Hey, we hit 10,000 subscribers. We're going to do a giveaway. This is the beautiful snake that we will give away. You can do things like that. You can do the same thing on Instagram, and different things get people to click, subscribe, increase your reach. Reach is a whole nother video, but I don't want to get scatterbrained on you guys. But that female for us is perfection. But it's going to be very hard to replicate hitting that female, because essentially, again, we got to constantly play around with pastel and lesser in the mix together, and in hopes of not just hitting straight pastel, or in hopes of not just hitting straight lesser, because you're going to still be stuck with those animals. Now, and again, it's a hypo combo, and for some reason we love hypo, but hypo is not highly sought after. It really isn't. I think because DG, even though DG hypo looks amazing together, but hypo's been around forever. So now we want to get to the importance of males versus your females. So typically, if we were in the market for a certain male, we would prefer to get that male without pastel. Do we have insane males with pastel? Absolutely. Why would you get an insane male with pastel? Because unfortunately, at the time that when we were purchasing that specific animal, there were no other animals like that animal available without pastel. And oftentimes the couple males that we do have that are stunners, they are amongst some of the only ones even out, or if they're not, they're one of 5 that's been created. And again, you're still going to get taxed on the end of that, because you're going to pay for that anyway. You're still going to have some pastel combos. You're still going to, depending on your pairing, which we just went through with our pastel stranger double head puzzle clown and our pastel hidden gene wama clown, you're also going to produce some super pastels, which is fine as well. You just have to be all right with a higher end project not being valued at the same as non-pastel animals in those combos, and being a tad bit under the market. It is what it is. Again, and this is all the business side, because some of them combos, some of them super pastel babies, some of them pastel babies look absolutely insane. Some of them hold their brightness and colors all the way through adults. But some do not. And for that very same reason, people kind of try to steer away when they're in the market to purchase. So if you are a seller, a breeder, a business, to a certain extent, you have to work your own projects, but you also have to be able to identify your risks and obstacles that's waiting in front of you. And if you cannot place obstacles in front of you, you're probably going to end out better. Now, for example, we have this male from one of our latest clutches. Wow, showing really, really nice. This is actually a high intensity orange dream lesser clown male. Now, for us, if this was a female, we would have kept her. But after a few more meals, this boy will be available. So bright and beautiful. Now, we haven't seen a ton of them available, but again, if it was female, we would hold it back and work something from the male side that would complement those genes a little bit better. But since a lot of our males are literally going to 3, 4, sometimes 5 females a year to put a lesser clown combo male to other projects like that, it's just not going to benefit our plan. Some other people, it will benefit their plan. So again, weigh your options. Now, this one here is a female. Okay. Now, this is a pastel, blackhead, clown, female. Now, for right now, we're going to hold her back. We're in no rush to push these babies out. So we're going to get them nice and fat and get them big and then reevaluate with her. Now, only reason we would reevaluate with her is because, like I said, long term, it's like, okay, does it make sense to hold her back and pair her when she's ready in a couple years, or make her available and purchase a non-pastel version? I don't know. We're on the fence about it. We're going to see. We would like to purchase quality, so we would like to see what will be available and what the options are. But that's not all off the table as well. Again, just trying to make proper decisions in the now for our future. Now, check out this girl. This girl is going to be a pastel, spot nose, red head, 100% hypo. Now, considering this combo, there weren't too many available with this combo, we figured, hey, we're going to go for it. We have certain things that we can pair to her and really make her blow up for us. So a snake like her, that will fall into the category of we absolutely need her at all costs. For us, being that it's a female and the male, hopefully a non-pastel male, will be being paired to most of our females, sometimes you have to weigh your options. If you have the same exact snake for us without pastel, and let's say it's $1,000 difference, we're going to pick the pastel version for the female. Now, if we have the same exact snake and she is male, and for $1,000, $1,500 difference, you have the same snake that's non-pastel, we're going to go non-pastel for the male. You see how it flip-flops for us? Again, it's a decision that we're making on the business side because you have to do the simple math. And the simple math is odds. If you do a 1.3 in one specific pairing, and let's say your male, non-pastel, you're going to breed him to pastel female and 2 non-pastel females. Okay, average 6 eggs, 18 eggs for that year. You only even have the highest probability of having pastel in those combos in 6 eggs from that one female. Now, if you do the same math, 1.3 you're running, literally every single female is non-pastel and your male is pastel, you still get the same 18 eggs. Now you're running a probability, at least the probability, it's unlikely, but you can have 18 pastel babies out of that year. So again, to make the combos you want, it's irrelevant. Go for what you want, okay? But to make the combos you want and also preserve your availability that you're going to put out there onto the market, you probably got to make better business decisions when it comes to some of them genes like pastel and lesser. So, final thing, do I hate pastel? Do I hate butter and lesser? No, I don't. I really, really don't. I honestly feel like every single gene has its place in the industry. Every single gene is not meant to be stacked, to be gene stacked. Some genes you have to really appreciate it in its single gene form or in very subtle, simple combos. Another one, Orange Dream and Yellow Belly. When they interact, they have this phenomenal display of color and pattern. So hopefully this video finds you guys doing well. Comment down below if this helps explain some things. We don't dislike pastel. We don't dislike lesser. We actually have quite a bit of it, but we have to make sure that with all the different lanes we're going down, that we keep ourselves honest and on course with our plans and don't deviate. But anyway, it's Will, Flawless Exotic Creations, and we out.